All right, all right. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for checking in. Oh my God. I am live again with another Lily's lesson. And I want to thank you all for being so supportive and just asking for these lessons, right? This one is going to be a really, really, really good one, okay? But before I get started, let me go ahead and introduce myself. I am Lily of YB Limited, the owner and founder of the brand YB Limited. And you can find me at all places YB Limited. That is here on YouTube, which you're watching me now. And you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The other place that you can find me is on the block with Jen every night here on YouTube on weekdays, which means Monday through Thursday. We go live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, we go live at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So that's when you can find me. We do a panel show. We cover all topics, and it's the most diverse and balanced panel on YouTube. Okay. So, hello, Khalifa. Thank you so much for checking in. I love you. And I'm about to get into this. Now, this is the thing, right? You all, I'm still new to this. And let me see if I can do this. I also know that there is. I don't know if there's a way for me to do this. I wanted to share something with you, but I don't know how to do it yet. So it is okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it through there. And I don't want to push no more buttons because I'm going to end up kicking y'all off or kicking me off or something, and we won't have a show today. Okay. So today's topic is, or today's lesson, I was too broke to date, right? And this topic comes from a couple of things. It came from a TikTok that I did a while back. So I did a TikTok short. That's actually what I wanted to share with you. And I was going to expound on it, but it's okay because it was a short video. So I can go ahead and expound without the visual. And it also comes from the fact that I do a show 6 nights a week. And one of the hottest topics is relationships. Okay. I'm pretty sure when you scroll up and down on your feed, you see the gender wars, you see the relationship stuff. And, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, it comes down to the topic that I'm about to share with you. But I formed this opinion based off of my personal life and my personal experience in the dating world. Okay. Um, like a lot of us, we go through our dating history and we look back, and it's just like, oh my God. But for me, I look back, right? I really look back at my dating history and my experience in dating and stuff like that. And I don't have any regrets when it comes to that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I chose the person. That's number one. Number two, I chose to stay with them as long as I was with them. And number three, I learned what I needed to learn from that experience. Once, I got out, the feelings is, not with me anymore, then I can sit there and think about the lesson that I learned. And then I take whatever good stuff with me, and I'm like, thanks for the memories. Let's keep it moving, right? So I don't have any issues like that where I'm like, oh my God, like when I think of a person, I still get a feeling like of, ooh, none of that, right? But at some point, when I was looking at my pattern of dating, I was like, what is the problem? Like, why can't my relationships work? Like, what is the real issue? Right. And then that's when it hit me. I was like, I'm too broke. And a lot of people, when they think broke, automatically you're going to go to money because we like some money. Hey, Jen, on the block with Jen. Thank you for tuning in. I love you. So yes, this is going to be a good one. So yeah, I was like, I'm so broke today. Like, and it wasn't just financially because it was financially too, and I'll get to that. But it was also mentally, spiritually, and if you are a person who happens to be atheist, spiritual can we can replace that with energy, right? Or you can replace it with a lot of other things, right? Whatever language is comfortable for you, but spiritually, emotionally, financially was broke, meaning there was things that I just didn't have currently at that particular time to participate in a healthy relationship. I wanted a healthy relationship. I had this long list of things that I wanted in a mate, But then when I looked at my stuff, I was like, well, damn, I'm just bringing like a bunch of baggage and some good, we'll talk about that on another stream, but I'm just saying, I mean, that wasn't enough to hold together a relationship. I mean, you can hold together a relationship, just not a healthy one, just depending on where y'all was at or what you were doing. It's healthy in certain areas. But for the, whole part of relationship, I needed a little bit more than some good, right? And I was at the time I had just came from my sabbatical, which I shared before, which is prison, co-worker prison. We call it sabbatical. That's what me and my best friend call it. Just came back from there. So I had no coins. Mama had no coins. But I still like dick. Just go ahead and say it like that. I still like sex, right? So there was that. And I was still doing a lot of work on myself, which I should have been doing because, like I just said, I just came back from a sabbatical, so there was a little bit of evidence that I had some work to do. Even emotionally, I wasn't in a place to participate in a healthy relationship. In reality, when I look back on it, what I was really doing when I was getting to relationships is I was taking hostages. Like they were POWs, right? Like I was subconsciously looking for someone to give me stuff that I wasn't willing to give to myself, right? Like I was looking for someone to be a crutch for me. Didn't I wasn't doing it purposely. Like a lot of people, a lot of us, we're not doing it purposely, right? But that's just where I was at. Like I was emotionally starved and and all of those things. So I said, you know what? um Let me, oh, no, I know what it was. During that time I was just aware of my financial situation, so I said, okay, let me not get into a relationship right now because I just got back from sabbatical. I don't have anything to offer financially. Let me take a break. So I took a break, got myself together financially, and then I decided like, okay, I think I'm ready to get a relationship. I got some coins now, like I'm ready to participate. I got not just some coins, but I got a place, I got a car, I got a couple bank accounts. Like mama's doing good. All right, so I start dating, and things started coming out, and that's what relationships do, right? Like when I look at it, relationships challenge me in a way that, and I'm talking about romantic relationships, challenge me in a way that my family and friends are unable to challenge me. The other word I can say that is trigger me, like my friends and family are not able to trigger me, right? Because it's the emotion is coming from a different space and a different place. And because I'm subconsciously putting these unrealistic expectations on someone who may be unavailable for those things, now I got some resentments. Okay, because you ain't doing what I'm telling you to do or what I want you to do, even though they don't know what they signed up for. They ain't got a clue. Okay, they ain't got no clue that they signed up to fix me. Okay, but because they not doing what I want them to do, now I'm triggered. Okay, now I'm acting out. And now I am healed issues to come up, and now I'm taking it out on that particular person. And it took me a minute to realize this pattern, right? It took me a while to realize what I was doing. um and so then I finally had to just take a look after being in some relationships and say, like, what is it that, or why is it that I can't participate in a healthy relationship? And then that's when I realized, oh, because I'm in the relationship. That's why I can't, because I'm in it. I don't even know. We can't even get to the other person yet, but it's because I'm in it. Because what I found out and what I realized is that I was attracting me. I was attracting like my vibrational match for where I was at that particular time in my life, right? And to be more specific of where I was at in that specific time in my life, um for me, up until then, my pattern, this was, my pattern, and you can relate to this in whatever way you can relate to this and look at your own pattern. But for me, my pattern was dating down low men, men who were unavailable to date me on in the public, right? And that was a result of how I felt about myself, because I was still dealing with self-hate, and I didn't think that I was worthy of a different type of relationship where I was put on a pedestal and things like that, right? I just didn't feel like I was. So, but if you would ask me, was I dealing with self-hate? I would have told you no, right? Until I became aware of, hold on, there's a pattern here. And what made me become aware of it is I finally got my heart broken, right? And I got my heart broken by a person who was on the DL. They told me they were on the DL throughout the whole relationship. They was on the DL. They didn't change their tune. They did what they said they was going to do. But I, like I said, subconsciously thought that I can change this person. And so, I'm with this person, and they did what they did, and my heart was broken, and I'm crying, and oh my God, I'm a victim. I can't believe what he did. He did what he did. I don't know why I couldn't believe it, because, like I said, he told me who he was. I just chose not to believe him. Okay, so boom, that just what that did was gave me. It put the fire under my ass to look at me and say, well, hold on, there's a pattern here, and the pattern is that every guy that you've dated um has been unavailable, and they they want a DL, and you wasn't of any like much importance to them, right? And so, I looked at that, and I was like, well, damn, that's saying a lot about me, that I'm choosing to be with people like this over and over and over and over again. But I'm saying, "Oh, I love me, and I put me," all that good shit that we say on Facebook posts and stuff like that. We supposed to say that because it sounds good and inspires people and stuff like that. But that's just not who I really was, and my actions were showing me that. That's why I always tell people, I don't care what you believe. You don't have to share with me what you believe, because you're going to show me what you believe. Like, our actions show our belief system. So my actions were showing that I didn't believe that I was of importance, right? And so I had to really take a look at that, and I had to do a lot of digging. And so um that's when I realized, like, damn, any relationship that I get in is not going to be healthy, because I'm not healthy. And I'm only going to attract unhealthy people, because it's going to be a vibrational match of where I was at that particular time. Wow. So I did some work. I realized, like, oh my God, where that came from. And I was prepared to do something different. And that's what I did. I did something different, and I got something different. That's when I got into my next relationship, which ended up being my longest relationship. Let me read this from Khalifa. She said, I did that too. Men unavailable because I didn't feel like I could be taken seriously, but I was in my 20s and 30s. Yes, I was in my 20s and 30s. I got this first lesson that I just shared with you at 31. And then I left that relationship, worked on myself. And how did I feel every day? That's a really good question, Khalifa. How did I feel every day? That's a really good question. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I started dating at 14, and I got this lesson at 31. And so it became my normal. I really didn't think about it, because it was my normal. And because, like I said, after I did the work, that's when I realized that I was still suffering with self-hate, because I had discovered that I was dealing with self-hate some years before, and I started working on it. But this particular relationship showed me that I still had a lot more work to do in that area. So I didn't focus on how I felt in those relationships with down low men, because it had been my norm my entire dating experience. Um, but like I said, once I did some things different, I got different results. I worked in that area, and I got into another relationship, which ended up being my longest relationship. And there were some other issues that that relationship brought up within me, right? Um, and so when I look back on that, I was able to get some lessons from that particular relationship once it was over, once the smoke cleared, once the feelings went away, and I was able to learn even more about me. And and this is the other thing. First comes like the awareness, and then comes the ownership, and then there's a weird space between the awareness and the ownership, that comes before the time that, like, or when I make the decision to do something different. Because just because I become aware of something, and just because I own something, does not mean I'm ready to change it at that said time. I may not have the courage to, I may still be comfortable in my shit, right? But either way, it's my it's my choice, right? So when I chose to finally do something different, like I said, I got some different results. And then from that period, that's when, after that particular relationship was done and over with, like I said, it ignited some things. I wouldn't say new things. It was just things that it was time for me to look at. Because you ever realize, like, you ever become aware of something, and you realize you've been doing that like for years, or you've been doing it your whole life. You're like, why am I just now learning this? Like, why am I just now knowing this? Or why didn't no one say that? Like, why no one called me out? Because it wasn't time. Because if all of the issues we need to work on happen at one time, and we become aware of them at one time, it will be overwhelming. It'll be too much. So they come up when they're supposed to come up. And in that relationship, it brought up some other things. And so I took another break, and I took some more time to look at myself and to grow, in all of those areas, financially, spiritually, emotionally, and do some different things. I'm sorry about the sirens. I'm pretty sure y'all can hear that, but it's okay. What is it? What's it when I get on a live, I get on the phone and call these daggone sirens. Um, let's see if I can close this door. Hold on. Sorry about that, you all. Okay, so when I did something different, I got some different results, and so I then attracted um a new type of person that was a vibrational match to where I was at in the new space, in the new space that I was in my life. And then that's when I started to really see the patterns, like, oh shoot, like, it's really me for real. Because I noticed the more I work on myself, the different type of people in general, not just in romantic relationships, but just in general, the people that I was attracted was completely different than before. Khalifa says, now I don't attract unavailable men, just men. I don't want to be bothered with because I'm really into me and what I'm doing now. Yes. Yeah. That's funny because I don't attract unavailable men anymore either. You want to know what's funny? I started to kind of, the tables kind of turned, right? Because I went from, like, attracting down low men to not wanting to attract down low men. But the whole time, oh, now it's coming back to me, Jen. It's coming back to me. I'm glad you asked that question. How did I feel? It's coming back to me. Um, yes. When I was in those relationships with the down low men, I was secretly thinking I can change him, and secretly wanting to change him. And it was just the same guy, different face, different body, right? And so that's pretty much how I spent my dating life. Hello, necessary evil. Um, yeah, I thought I could change them, and so I would always have that frustration, and I would always have that yearning for, like, the traditional relationship where we're out in the open and they claim me and all of that good stuff. And like I said, I did the work. I started attracting guys who wanted to claim me. But guess what? I'm full of shit because listen, I got to the place where I was like, I don't want to claim them now. I don't want nobody to know about you. I'm like, you are full of it. Like, you went all these years wanting to be claimed, and now the table got flipped, and now I didn't want to claim, men. It's such a weird thing. That's life, right? But and then it went to another place. Now I'm at a place that, like, if I'm in a relationship, I just believe in privacy, especially because so much of my life has to be public. I keep things for myself, and I've become really super tight lip and closed about relationships and things like that in this stage of my life. So it's not like a situation like, oh, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to, how can I put it? I want to hide you or nothing like that. It's nothing like that. It's just that it's about privacy at this point. But the point that I'm making is that I started noticing that each time I worked on myself, I got a different crop of person, and I realized that I was attracting me in all of my situations, right? And so that took away the victim mentality, that took away the bitterness, or any of those things. I started to look at my relationships a whole different way. And like I said, romantic relationships, especially if you live with a person, they they test you, and they illuminate things within you that you probably wouldn't ordinarily see. Because listen, I feel the most spiritual when I'm by myself. Like when I get up in the morning and I go have my cup of coffee and I'm talking to Miss Brooklyn, my cat, I feel extra spiritual. But when you add another human into it, I realize I'm not as spiritual as I thought I was. I'm not as emotionally stable as I thought I was on a consistent basis, right? Like it illuminates the real me, or I mean, it's all of it's the real me, but parts of me that maybe I'm unaware of, maybe I'm not trying to look at, you know? And so, yeah, like that's just how I look at things, and that's just where I'm at with things at this particular point in time. But that's one of my favorite lessons that I learned because, like I said, a lot of people, what I see online and the gender wars and stuff like that, is a lot of people projecting on what other people are not doing and what other people are not bringing to the table and all of that stuff. But in reality, what I realized in my own life, it was a lot because I didn't know who I was, like for the most part. Like I didn't even take the time out to do the work on me because subconsciously I wanted you to do the work on me. That's what I really wanted, right? Like it's so much easier. Like I always say, it's so much easier to look out the window than it is to look in the mirror, right? It's a lot more difficult to look in the mirror, but it's beneficial, right? So if you are a person that believes in the law of attraction, believes in energy and things like that, um, I started saying to myself, change your algorithm. I had a conversation with Khalifa this morning, and we were talking about algorithms, right? And if you notice on your phone, right, whether you on social media or YouTube or something like that, the stuff that comes to your phone is the shit you watch, is the shit you click on, right? You're going to get more of what you click on. Like those are the choices you made. You chose to click on Kim Kardashian farts in the middle of movie theater. Okay, well you're gonna get more celebrity shit, right? But if you choose to click on cat videos, then you're going to get more animal stuff, right? So if you look on your phone, if you open your social media and you don't like what's popping up, that's your choice. That's just you getting more of what you put out there. So it's the same thing with relationships. At any given time, we can change our algorithm, but it always comes back to us. At the end of the day, we are the problem and the solution, right? So that is my lesson for today. Like I said, I've made a lot of dumb mistakes, but luckily I learned from them, and we can learn from them together, right? So if you're making some stupid mistakes, right? Because I'm going to continue to do so, I'm just trying to make some new ones, right? So put down the bat, beat yourself with the feather, okay? And get back up and keep it going, right? So That's all I got for you today. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like this video, it really helps. Make sure you leave a comment if you are watching the playback. And please share and subscribe if you're not subscribed. All right, there's also a notification bell so that you can know anytime I go live. In addition to that, we have on the block with Jen, and that's going to be the new episode is tonight. Okay, that's every night, Mondays through Thursdays from at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on Friday and Saturday. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really hope you got something out of this. I love you all. And until next time, always remember to ask yourself, what? Why be limited? Mwah.